Hello everyone, welcome back to the KMTRADERS channel. So this is the Crypto Weekly Analysis Volume 10. Again, we'll give you a look at the insights for next week and compare our analysis from last week as well. So we are going to start off with Bitcoin. So what we were explaining last week, pretty much what we were saying is that, we've got this space in this area, we've got filled it with this red box, right? The reason why I'm saying that price could have gone into this area is because we've got these two trend lines that we've got drawn, so one to the downside and we've got one extended from the upside. So it created this area here, and what I was explaining from last week was that there is a possibility that price could spike into this area, and then it could eventually, then we could potentially see a turnover towards the downside. Or the other option was that we were going to get price to just completely break down into the 28k, which is where we want to see happening. So through this week, what we've seen happen is pretty much the rally towards the upside, and it pretty much is going, it's pretty much going the way that we've explained that would potentially happen. So we can get rid of this scenario, which is the second scenario that we suggested. So now that we can see price pushing up, we've pretty much come to the extended half of the trend line, right? So I'm going to go and get rid of this trend line for now, and pretty much I feel like this has satisfied the area space to be filled. So now that we're pretty much going to be playing with this extended trend line right here. So if anyone really watches our Forex videos, or the Forex analysis, there is a common theme that happens, and what I explain is that sometimes with a trend that's drawn, that's a common downtrend, usually we could expect one or two things to happen, and that is where price forces a break towards the upside. It looks convincing, but then the second thing that can happen is it can just completely drop, and we call that a fake out. And then the other scenario is, which is the best case scenario, is that we get a huge rally from it, and that's where we could expect price to completely rally towards the upside. So those are the two things that you have to be careful of with any trend that you draw, or trend line that you draw. So what I think could potentially happen now is the main thing, really. So I think that this could potentially be a fake out, and that's what we've been explaining over the last few weeks or so, since we've pretty much been in this consolidation period, and just where we've just seen price move within this range. We've had a break towards the upside. We explained that price could have a spike towards the upside to fill that gap that we've just drawn out in that red box. We completely filled that now. Now the second option is pretty much what's going to happen next. And in my opinion, I feel like this could be a fake out from this trend line, and essentially we could just be expecting price to drop off. Okay, and with that being said, where do I expect it to go to? Pretty much towards the downside. I want to see price break this low, so the 28k barrier. If we can, this is pretty much where we want to see price go into for now. I don't think that price has the ability to push up any higher than and break the new highs. I think that there is a potential for price to break the lows still, so I'm going to be quite confident in saying that, and still sticking to that bias that we originally talked about on our first crypto analysis, first crypto weekly analysis, and that was essentially to break this 28k barrier. So it's nice to see that we've had some sort of move come in our way, and what we've kind of explained, but pretty much now we just need to stay patient still, and not get trapped into this, because I still think that we can see a turnaround. So what the possibility is that we could get price to continue to move up higher, completely higher, and then have that turnaround. Or the second scenario is that we start to see the sell-off some point soon, and it won't push any we won't see price push as high as last week or so. So if that kind of makes sense, then yeah, hopefully you can understand what I'm trying to say. So pretty much we're going to use this kind of insight, and again we're going to apply it into the other altcoins and see what's been happening over there. So yeah, so let's move on to now Ripple. We'll take a look at XRP. So yeah, so what we were similarly explaining was that we would either get price to drop down or we'll get price to spike up. So we pretty much had that scenario happening now, so we can get rid of this. So pretty much now what we're seeing here is a potential turnaround point soon. It's actually a good thing to check. Let's check the RSI. So we are seeing some slower momentum, nothing too massive right now. This is probably strong right now. We're seeing price rally up. It's not really reflecting any. It's not reflecting anything good in terms of pushing up higher. So again, this adds to that confluence that we could potentially see a turnover soon. So again, we'll talk about what we could expect. So we could expect a nice turnaround straight away with a little push up higher, or we could get price to break up just a little bit more and then drop off soon. So again, the same story is we're pretty much just waiting for price to drop off. So whether that price drops off immediately or price continues to push up higher, we could even test that upside up trend actually. So I might actually put that up here because that could be a good good place for a nice sell-off opportunity. But again, we are still waiting for a sell-off either way to break the lows. So we are expecting price to go lower than 50 cents within this range here. And once we can get into this area, like I said in the other week videos, that's when we can start to potentially look into some buying opportunities. But yeah, for now, pretty much I'm looking into some sell-off opportunities still. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So let's take a look into Cardano. So yeah, similar story here is through last week. Again, we were looking for price to continue to sell off. Pretty much had a nice little rebound, and again, I'm just gonna simply just keep that analysis exactly the same. I want to see price drop into the low, potentially into into this boxed off region here for now. We could even potentially see price hitting the 80 cents range, even lower, but again, there's no point trying to guess where price will rebound. It's important for price to obviously make this low first, and then we can expect then we can see what we're going to really expect to see in terms of the turnaround point. So anyway, I'm not really too convinced that we're going to see a rally yet with Cardano. So yeah, pretty much adds to the confluence that we could be expecting price to push lower. Moving on to Litecoin. So again, we've had price push up. Again, what we explained through this one is that we could be seeing a potential turnaround at the 68k or the 7k mark. Again, I'm not entirely too sure if this is definitely going to hold true because I'm not entirely sure price will get here. If it does get here, I think it's very important to see if we can find any spikes, or if we see any spike, then where we see price push up really fast and then drop low. I don't think that would be a good idea to take a buy. I think that could be very well be a big trap there. So I think for me, going on with the bias with the other coins and Bitcoin, there's a possibility that we could expect to turn around still, and again taking out the prices low, so around 3,200. So yeah, moving on now to take a look. Ethereum. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Ethereum. So yeah, essentially potentially waiting for this turnover still. I think what I was explaining in our last videos or so is that we could expect, again, if we start to see a break over the 3k barrier, is it going to be a possibility for price to turnover? Yes, that could be a possibility. If not, I think that it'll be very key to understand what price is actually, what price action is doing. So we are getting very close here. So if we start to see a price move in and it's a very strong candle, we could consider that. But the reason why I'm kind of holding back is because of the possibility of price action and the other Bitcoin dominance for price to drop lower, because usually if Bitcoin drops, we see that reflected in the other coins as well. So if I'm expecting Bitcoin to drop, then in theory we should be able to expect Ethereum to drop too. So yeah, just being very cautious if price does push up here, but it'll be very tight if it does. So again, watch out for any spikes. So in the sense where price just pushes up, and then wait for that closure. That's all I can say, because if we start to see price push up really fast and then drop really low, we'll get a stick wick, and usually that has a sentiment where price is still bearish. So again, just be mindful of that, especially if you are new to trading just in general. Again, I'd possibly just wait out on Ethereum. So yeah, moving on to now Dogecoin. So again, I think I was saying it around the 30 cents mark. If we get some sort of rally, again, we could expect something here. I think what I was explaining is that that is a possibility, but I'm not entirely too convinced right now. Again, with the Bitcoin dominance, I feel like there is a possibility we could drop off lower. So again, I'm just going to hold off on that bias for a long run for now. We could expect price to just potentially find a reaction, push up higher, and then turn around. Potentially heading into in this boxed off area, but again, we don't need to discuss where the turnaround points are yet. We just want to make sure that we first get price to break this low first, and then we can really start to get involved of some buying opportunities. So again, we are getting very close now to those lows that we've been speaking about for a long time. We can start to see that prices really getting closer and closer, but yeah, it's nice and interesting to see that we've had a little rally through last week. It will be interesting to see what happens through this week, and if we can actually start to break those lows. If we can, that will be a good opportunity for those buys, but again, we have to still stay patient with it and not rush the process. So again, that will be all. I think if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I do appreciate your time for watching. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. We do also have a trading group that you can also join, and that link is in the description. So thank you very much for listening, guys, and we'll see you all in our next video.